Yields now. I call on Ranking Member Scott of Virginia for his 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Khawar, we've been talking generally about investigations. Exactly what are you investigating? What violations or infractions are you investigating?
Thank you for that question. I might note at the outset that I have yet to see anyone provide any evidence when they're talking about timeliness and delays that the agency isn't actually trying to move these cases as quickly as possible. But to answer your question more directly, when we are talking about investigations, these are investigations into either civil or criminal violations. In the criminal context, the easy example I would give you, because it tends to, people remember it, is the Madoff incidents, where there was a Ponzi scheme, retirement savers, among others, lost a lot of money. EBSA was one of the agencies that was investigating that. In the civil context, it could be issues around your health insurance premiums not getting paid. They weren't transmitted to the health insurance company, and your insurance was canceled. It could be a claim that was denied. In the retirement context, it could be something as simple as money not making it to your 401k, or as complicated as we had issues, for example, a number of years ago, where foreign exchange transactions that employee benefit plans were asking the financial services industry to carry out were being carried out on very, very poor terms. So the bank would take advantage of whatever the best rate was of the day, the customer would get the worst rate of the day, and that was not disclosed in any contracts. It was just kind of pure additional compensation that financial entity was getting for itself. EBSA put a stop to that practice.
How do you select targets for investigation?
There are a variety of different ways. One very important source, is actually the Benefits Advisor Program. A lot of referrals come from the benefits advisors when they're not able to informally resolve a case.
This is where somebody is complaining to the benefit advisor.
Exactly.
And it is apparent that something is going wrong.
Exactly. So the benefits advisors will try to resolve that, but they're not always able to. The agency has believed it's an important source, because you have this person calling you, they're telling you something, and so there's more than the level of suspicion or belief that you would have otherwise. But it's not the only source. There are reports that are filed with the government and other data sources that the agency has that it kind of mines to figure out where it can devote those resources to get something that's more effective.
We've heard a lot about common interest agreements and working with private lawyers secretly. What does the EBSA law say about sharing information?
So there is a specific provision in ERISA that allows the department to share information essentially with interested parties. Frequently, that's actually used to share information with the people that you're investigating, right? Because you want to tell them information about the investigation. It is also used in the context of these common interest agreements. I will point out that when we're talking about the context, we should be, I think, and I'm hoping that the IG report does this, is to not just look at kind of a numerical, there were this many conversations with these kinds of parties, but to look at kind of broadly at what's going on and understand what EBSA's role was in these things. I mean, I will tell you my own experience is that I talked far more to people in the defense bar than people in the plaintiff's bar in the entire time of my tenure at EBSA.
Is there anything that you supply that couldn't be gotten by the other side through discovery?
I think it's a question of when. My understanding is that for private plaintiffs, they don't, I've never brought a private litigation, but my understanding is that it can sometimes be difficult for them to get their hands on information, even when they're entitled to it by law. I'm thinking right now of some guidance that we put out because an insurance company had denied someone's claim. The attorney wrote to us and said, they have tapes that they're using as a basis of the denial. They're not turning over those tapes to us. We put out some guidance that said that, no, that is covered. But that's one example where people wouldn't be able to get information.
And finally, we've heard that ESOPs are being investigated. What problems can workers have with ESOPs that would require EBSA to intervene?
So the primary issue that EBSA looks at is really around the acquisition of the ESOP and the debt that the ESOP or the entity incurs. It's actually quite uncommon for EBSA to investigate ESOPs kind of on an ongoing basis. I yield back.
Gentleman yields.